We have a very special guest joining us today, part of 3 World Cup teams for the U.S., getting his number retired by the Colorado Rapids. He was the first ever U.S. player to get to 100 caps. He's an absolute legend, one of the best defenders that we've ever produced. And most importantly, I had a poster up of him on my wall. Marcelo Balboa, welcome to the show.
Woo!
How could I not? He grew up in the same area as I did, Chuck, and I looked up to him, and I thought, if a kid in my area can do it and play in World Cups, why can't I? And he inspired me to go on. And actually, his dad had some profound advice for me that changed my life in a positive way. We can get into that later. Cello, great to see you. How are you? You're looking vibrant as always.
I'm good. Thanks for having me on the show. I love the energy, and life is good, man. No complaints. I live in Colorado still, and just took my dog there for an 8-mile hike, and life is rolling on, man.
Life is rolling on, and you're getting your number retired by the Rapids. How does that feel? Because you've been a part of this from the very beginning. And when I say this, it's MLS, but obviously you've been a part of U.S. soccer and helping grow the game for so long, and now you're getting your flowers like you rightfully deserve from the club.
I'm not sure. It hasn't really hit me yet. I mean, when I started playing soccer, I played it because I love the game, not because I was hoping someday they would retire me, or we didn't even know anything about the Hall of Fame. So it's kind of weird to think that no one's going to wear that number anymore for Colorado. It's an honor because of the fact that, listen, the only way this is happening, the only way I've had this much success in soccer is because the guys that are sitting, Tony, you guys, everybody who I've played with, they've made life so easy. When you make a mistake, you had Tony in the back. When you made a mistake, you had Lexi, Caligiuri, Fernando, or Thomas Dooley, or John Harkes, or Tab in front of me. So, I'm more thankful that I was able to play with guys like that. The number thing is awesome, but the friendships you create throughout the years and the brotherhood you have is more special to me.
Yeah, Cello. By the way, he made a lot of mistakes. That's why he's going into the Hall of Fame, right? Because of all the mistakes that he made.
Why do you think Tony's in the Hall of Fame? You welcome, by the way. You welcome.
No, incredible. Hey, I got to ask you about the number 17. I only know you as number 17 from youth national teams on. Was there a reason for 17? Is there a reason why you picked that number? Or is it just someone gave it to you and you kind of stuck?
No, when I joined the national team, there was only 2 numbers available, and there was 13, and I think the other one was like 19 or something. So they gave me 13, and I wore it. I told my mom. My mom's like, no, Marcelo, no. And I'm like, why? She's like, well, 13 is bad luck. Like this, she had a whole thing around it. So as soon as another number opened up, which was 17, which I know Eric was 17 in college, but I had a little bit more seniority than he did. So as soon as the number opened up, 17 opened up, I pounced on that thing. And ever since, I think it was 88, the end of 88, 89, I've been wearing 17. Weird. I know. Hey, it's mom. Mom made me pick a different number. So 17 just happened to be there.
Hey, really quick, Cello. So in honor of you, I wore number 17 in high school. Because you were my favorite player. So 17 was a number that resonated with me as well. Plus, my hair was next level. I mean, that bowl cut. Everybody should be. Yeah,
it's long, though. It's good. It's a good start.
It's a good start. I couldn't get to your level, Cello, but I did want to give a shout out because I wore 17 in high school and in college because you wore 17. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk, Cello, about MLS and what you've seen in its evolution over 30 years. We got 30 teams. What have you liked that say about the changes, about the growth of the league, where you think the league needs to go? I know this is probably a 20-minute answer for you, but But is there an area that you've really been pleased with the growth of MLS?
Listen, I think the fact that where we've built these new franchises has been fantastic. Be it Charlotte, the way the people have responded, Nashville with the new stadiums, even San Diego right now, what they did, St. Louis. So I think that's always a huge bonus. For me, I think it's like anything else is where do we, I guess, take the handcuffs off and let some of these teams start spending some real money to bring in some big time players besides Messi and DePaul and players like that. It would be nice to see them open up that salary cap It'd be nice to see them go to a calendar year. I think that's going to be important as everywhere else in the world. So you can bring in transfer fees and bring in players at the right time instead of having to wait, because our transfer window is different than the European window. So I think there's a lot of positive things that have happened in this league, but I think we're still handcuffing ourselves because we're not allowing ourselves to open that market and allowing ourselves, if I'm LA and I want to bring in Griezmann, I should be able to bring in 2 or 3 players. You know what I mean? But we're standing in a great place, man. In '96, they told us you have money for 3 years and we'll see what we'll do and how we'll work things out after that. And we're sitting here 30 years later talking about a league that is expanded with some of the best facilities in the world, some of the best stadiums in the world, and wonderful fans. So we couldn't be happier.
So Cello, talk to me about this part of it where, okay, we're expanding. I agree with you wholeheartedly. We got to take the handcuffs off and allow this league to go where it's going to go and start to evolve into a league that's a little bit more similar to what we see around the world in other sports leagues. Well, I guess here we have salary caps for other sports leagues. But what about the American player? Where does the American player fit into that equation for you? Because we're seeing teams like Inter Miami in the Leagues Cup, no Americans starting in that one. I went to a Minnesota United game recently. They only had 1 American starting, Will Trapp. Like, how do we solve that problem a little bit? Because it feels like the American player might be getting squeezed out of this. And when I think about spending more money, it doesn't seem like that's going to be on the American player. It feels like we're going to go get players from around the world. Yeah,
listen, I think when you look at this and we talk about handcuffing, there's always 30 teams. So 7 of them are going to take that. We're going to take the full approach of buying the best players in the world, bringing in players. But there are other teams that have a lot of Americans on there. So I think it's a balance like you do in South America, like you do in Europe. There's always a balance. I mean, sure, we can put on only 5 foreigners. We can do all that stuff. But in Mexico, they've let the cuffs off for a while. Once you become 3 or 4 years, you become a citizen of the United States. You're no longer a foreigner. So listen, I think that there are always going to be teams that are going to go after that foreign player and have that foreign base 9 out of 10 or 9 out of 11. But there's other teams that you look around that have 7 or 8 MLS starters. So I go back and say that's what the academy's for. If we do our jobs right, we'll be selling 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds to Europe. And then when they get older, they'll be coming back.
Marcelo, you get to cover the game like we all do every week, right? And you cover it on Apple TV, get around the country. What's like the biggest surprise? You mentioned 1996 and the 3 years that they told us that we had to make this thing happen. We didn't know if it happened after the second year, right? We had no idea. But now you get to travel around week in and week out. What's like the thing that strikes you most outside of the stadiums? Because the stadiums we know are real. They're exceptional.
I think the engagement of the fans. I think the fact that it's easy to say I'm going to go watch Miami play with all the stars they have. Minnesota selling out their games. Nashville selling out their games. You know what I mean? And I think it's good to see that people are engaging in MLS. I hate when people compare the EPL to the league. And I was in a cab the other day, and the dude gave me a whole spiel about Barcelona and that's his team. I'm an American guy, so I'm like, oh, cool. Then what's your MLS team? I freaking hate MLS. And I'm like, you can't compare La Liga to MLS. Well, who the hell wants to compare a league? We're trying to grow a league, you know what I mean? So try giving it a chance. And I think that's what people have done over the last 5 or 6 years. When I go to a stadium, I see fans that are very knowledgeable, that are talking soccer. And it's not just like, well, the guy kicked the ball and he headbutted it. It's literally soccer talk when you're walking through the fans. So I think that's the growth. For me, the growth of the fans and the experience you have at a stadium has been probably something that I've enjoyed.
Cello, my man, you were one of my U20 assistant coaches under Ziggy Schmidt. And I remember just how positive you were. You were one of my idols as a kid. And to get to have you as a coach, I remember how important that was for me. And then when I got to the full men's national team, I always felt your support. And you were a close friend all the way through. So now that we're seeing this current U.S. men's national team, it feels like a lot of former players aren't taking that big brother role, brotherhood. I got to help. I want to be a mentor. It's very critical and negative. Do you think that's fair at the moment? How would you judge the relationship of former player, former U.S. men's national team versus I want to be critical and supportive, but at the same time, maybe it's too negative?
Yeah, we cross a line, but we cross the line because of social media. We cross the line because we want clicks and likes, and we want people to banter back and forth. Listen, I will always be a U.S. national team supporter, and if you put on a jersey now, even when we play the old men's World Cup Legends games, I put on the jersey and I run my ass off. So I think we cross the line sometimes because we all want to see soccer grow. We want this team to do well. Tell me what good does it do beating up Christian Pulisic every day or Tyler Adams or Weston McKennie? It makes no sense, man. It makes no sense to me. So, but I get it. That's part of our business. This is something we've always wanted. We wanted this kind of pressure as athletes. We've never had it in soccer, and now we have it. So I understand it, but I think there's a fine line of being negative and being an idiot and then being, critical on certain people. So it's just reality and the world we live in. But listen, win or lose, I've got their back, and I always will. Never once will I fade saying, yeah, they didn't play well, but we still have this. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Negativity is easy. Negativity, it comes out like this. But positive comments are always very difficult to come across. So I'd rather stay to the positive side and back Christian Pulisic and those guys, knowing how they think, because we all played on the national team, that it's going to kick in and they're going to get it done for us.
So in saying that, there have been a lot of ups and downs within the U.S. men's national team. You've played through. I mean, you and Tony helped build this road to give us an opportunity to play this game. I honestly look at that 1990 World Cup team and the 94 one to really say, hey, this is an incredible sport. Hey, let's introduce it to the country. That's what you did for my generation. So seeing this team now, where are they?
I think we labeled it too quick and too early as media, myself included, that we said this is a golden generation. You know what I mean? That's a lot of pressure on a team that has these kind of players. But you know what? Congratulations. You're an athlete. You're representing your country. We're going to put you on the stage and we're going to call you because no one's ever played at AC Milan or at Juventus or at England like they're doing. So you know what? I think this group is very talented. I think this group is probably I wouldn't say the best team we've ever had, but I would say this is one of the top ones we've had. And I think this is a group that when they understand this, you don't play in a Champions League final and win it if you don't know what pressure is about. So they know what's coming up. They know what they've already lived their first World Cup, just like we did in 90. Listen, these guys don't have a clue of what it was back in 88 through 90 when we'd go to Europe and get our ass handed to us 5 or 6-0 by a club team. And we're trying to get our feet underneath us to play in a 90 World Cup. They have no clue what it's like playing Fiorentina when you've got big stars and you're losing 6-7-0, and they don't know what that's like because they're now in a very competitive mode. They play at the highest level possible. So again, for me, it's you know what? Do your thing, man. Listen, all the negative stuff, all it does is fuel the fire. I remember people telling me that I was an asshole. I was a worse player. I was Rambo. I was going to self-destruct. I'm like, rock on, bring it on.
Rambo.
Just it made me want to be better.
Rambo. I never heard that one
I love
before.
that.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I remember those days.
That was Paul Gardner.
I remember those days.
Remember Paul Gardner? Paul Gardner labeled me as Rambo, that I was going to self-destruct.
And did he do that as a tactic to get in your head so that you didn't play over him? Like, what was the logic behind trying?
My logic was to prove everybody wrong. Listen, I've never gotten a lot of credit for being a center back just because of the era we played in. No one saw us really play. So listen, I came back from an ACL in 6 months, unheard of to play in a World Cup. You know what I mean? Training every day. So everything they wrote from the national team coaches who I overheard telling Bora to cut me, to get rid of me before the World Cup and not give me a chance to come back so I wouldn't make it back. That fueled the fire, man. That got me back even quicker, made me work harder, made me think about watching video when I come back. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to play. So I loved it. I loved that people said negative things about me.
I was the guy standing closest to Marcelo when he did his knee. And then I was also the guy that watched him every single day fight to get back to a World Cup. And you can only hope that our team has that spirit. So my question, if you had a chance to talk to this group and tell them what it's going to be like, because you know what, we had Christian Pulisic on the show, and I think you know the episode, but we asked him about the World Cup and how it's going to. He basically said, yeah, I don't know, because it's maybe a little bit more pressure. It's at home, and I stopped him mid-answer, and I said, no, I'm going to tell you, it's going to change your life. Doesn't matter what you do at Milan, it's going to change your life. Doesn't matter what you do at Chelsea. If you had a chance to talk to these guys about what the World Cup means playing at home, what would you tell them?
You know, Tony, I don't know if they would understand it. And I'll tell you why, because we didn't understand it, did we? Let's be honest. Leading into the World Cup, did we really understand?
But now we know, though, Marcelo.
No,
now
but that's
we
what
know.
I'm saying.
Now we have the experience.
We know, and we lived it, but they won't know it until they live it. The one thing I would tell them is, man, you've got everything to fight for. And when you look at what you're getting ready to do, not a lot of players will ever play in a World Cup. Not a lot of players will ever represent their country in a World Cup at home. This is an opportunity to enhance our sport, to enhance what we've been doing since '96 in this country. So, you know what I mean? But they won't realize to what they've done or what's happened until they're out of the World Cup. Then they're going to look back, because I remember being in '94 and we kind of knew what we went through, but the expectations are nowhere near what this group has. This group's expected to get out of this group. This group's expected to reach a quarterfinal. We opened people's eyes in '94. We opened up the eyes of the whole world that we can host an event, that the team the U.S. put on the field was a good team. Now after 30 years of what we have in soccer, now we've got to show the rest of the world that we can compete to fight to win a World Cup. And that's what this is about.
Hey, preach. Absolutely preach.
By
the way, you know, as a center back, I know Jimmy couldn't do this, but you were one of those center backs who could do bikes. You had a little bit of flair for a center back. It's not very common. When you look at these current center backs, I know Jimmy's like the prototypical American center back. I'm gonna smash you. I'm gonna go through you. He had some of that, but you know, he's also he's not playing through the lines. You know,
I'm sitting right here. I'm sitting right here while you're sitting.
So, Cello, who do you like in the what center back do you see yourself in? Are there any? Who do you see kind of taking the reins and saying, I know what this World Cup's going to be about, and I'm going to play that way, and you want them on the pitch?
Yeah, you know, that's a good question, because there's a few positions for me that I'm still have a huge question mark, and one is goalkeeper. That to me, listen, I knew that I could make a mistake as a center back. I knew that I could not have the best game of my life because we had Tony back there. Tony would make the save, you know what I mean? This right now, I think Chris Richards has proven he deserves to be there, 100%. I still think right now, Tim Ream is the number one guy on that left side, but that worries me a little bit because of age and because of what happened against Trinidad. This little kid, James, spun him twice, got in behind, and almost scored a goal. So I would think right now that you almost would have to maybe go to a back three, because I'm not sure that other center back, because I can't, in my head right now, I can't think of one guy that sticks out that says, okay, these two are your pairing. Me and Lexi were a pair basically from 91 all the way to 94. You know what I mean? And then 94 to qualifying till we got to 98, then we got put on the bench. But I don't see another pairing right now between Reams and Richards that could maybe Cameron Carter-Vicker, maybe, but we don't see him enough. You know what I mean?
Look at two center backs. It's not two. Let's get three. Why not? Let's go four.
Hey,
let's go four center backs on the pitch.
Hey, center back union. I'm also been clamoring for a back three because we have proper wing backs in Jedi and Serginho Dest. But
exactly.
We could go way down that rabbit hole, but I'm loving that already. Picking up what you're putting down. Okay, last question before we let you go here, Cello. And this is tradition here. Call it what you want. Your favorite jersey swap in your career. Whose jersey can you flex on us that you got? Or maybe a top player waved you off. Raquel may waved me off a long time ago, and I'm still bitter about it. So,
well, the fact that no one knew who we were, a lot of people waved me off. So, you know what I mean? I remember Batistuta. He was like, no, but Fiorentina. So I would have to go.
It's the Argentines, huh?
Yeah, it's the Argentines, man. I would say, probably Valderrama. Was probably my coolest one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You got Valderrama World Cup? You got World Cup Valderrama?
World Cup Valderrama?
Wow.
I've got a few that you know that I have around, but he was probably because we played them so many times, and it was one of those deals where, you know what I mean, you knew each other well enough, and it was, you know what I mean? And like I said, that one,
you didn't get Tunisia and Saudi Arabia in the tournament. For some reason, I know
don't
you were hanging out with them.
I got the center back. I got not Tunisia. I think Fernando got Tunisia. So
okay.
I got Ruggetti. Ruggetti, center back. Wow. So
yeah.
That's
I can't believe Batistuta waved you off.
Oh man,
listen, have you seen him since?
It doesn't matter. He probably thought we were a club team. You know what I mean? From Joe Schmo. I don't know.
Did you get anybody from Italy in 1990? Was there any?
I do. I don't remember who it was. I got to be honest with you. 90 for me was a blur because that was my first game that I started against Italy, and I remember yelling at John Hartz 3 feet from me about something. He couldn't hear me, so that game was a blur. I do have an Italian jersey. It's in my closet somewhere, but we didn't have names back then. It was just a number.
That's right. Well, little did they know that you're Rambo for the U.S. men's national team. Marcelo Balboa, everybody. We appreciate your time, and hit like and subscribe. Turn on
Congrats, brother.
Here on the
yes, legend.
Channel. Marcelo, congratulations on getting your jersey retired to Colorado Rapids and for everything that you've done. A big thank you for everything you've done for soccer in this country.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Look at you getting to the end of the video. All right. Very proud of you. Now, if you want more average to good content, this is your channel. Go look at other videos, playlists. We have it all figured out. For more of the good stuff, then you got to make sure you hit like on this video, hit subscribe so you don't miss anything, and then turn on your notifications so you know when we're going live or if anything drops right when it comes out. We'd really appreciate it. See you next time.